Good Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Short Murica Thompson. How's it going today, Charles? Short Murica Thompson.
¿Cómo está?
We're just talking about, if you're watching on YouTube, which you should be, you should be watching on YouTube because we were talking earlier. Charlie looks way shorter than me on the video. I just want everyone to know he's about 7 inches taller than I am, a little less than 7 inches taller than I am. Our camera angles are a little bit messed up right now. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, wow, look how short that Charlie guy is, he's not exactly what you would call short.
No hablo inglés.
Yeah. You got the wrong hat on, man. You got to have your Mexican hat on.
Estados Unidos.
It's a really nice sombrero you have, though. I wish I had one. I wish
Mucho
I had one
grande.
like it. Yes, it is. It is. You're right. You're right about that. Okay, anyhow, so things happened over the weekend, as everyone knows. We've got a little bit of light rioting going on in L.A. right now. So what's up?
I heard something.
As usual, we got a little bit of light rioting going on in L.A. It's the Summer of Love, Part 2.
Here we go.
And the episode, I think, is going to be called Summer of Love Part 2. It's going to be a riot. That's what I would name the sequel. So that's what we have going on. You know, Trump is the president, so now all of a sudden we got to be having some riots out there. We had 4 peaceful years of non-rioting that happened where no one was killed by police, and ICE didn't perform any operations throughout that entire 4 years.
Yeah,
they didn't even exist, actually. I think Biden had disbanded ICE. They were gone. They didn't do anything at all. And now Trump has ICE out there arresting people again.
Causing riots.
The riots, yeah. And, of course, as we watch some of the video today, you'll notice that there were basically no riots until Trump called in the National Guard, until he federalized California's National Guard, and then that caused riots to happen. Of course, that's what some of the media is saying. I did want to, before we get into all the stuff, this here is a Libertarian podcast, okay? So if it's your first time listening, it might sound a little different if you just came over here from the Mark Levin show or something like that, and now you're listening. It's going to sound a little bit different from what you're used to hearing. I'm going to be 100% upfront honest. I still don't know exactly where I stand on immigration. I really don't. I know that I really don't care. I just don't care that much. I've tried.
About what? Like
any of it, honestly. I care about the national debt, how much money the government spends, all kinds of stuff like that. I care about the welfare state and all those things, and human freedom and liberty and all of that. And I can't bring myself to care deeply about the immigration thing. And I'm not even saying...
Of who's living on 34th Street.
No, I don't... And I'm... Just so you know, before you get angry, all you Levin listeners who made it over here, I'm not even saying that's the correct stance. Don't take this as an argument that I'm making right now. I'm telling you, I've tried so hard to come up with what my thoughts and feelings are on this, and I can't land. I asked a question on X, got about 200 comments, got some constructive ideas and stuff in there. I read through all of them. I looked through some quotes and stuff from some famous libertarian thinkers and all that, and I just can't land on anything. I just can't. I'm telling. So we're going to report what happened, as any good journalist would, and then I guess maybe we'll do some.
You're just saying it's not very high up on your priority list.
It's not in either direction. Just so you know, when
but you're for the wall.
I'm fine with the wall. Yeah, totally fine with the wall. I am. So that's
keep
fine with me.
People in
if
or
you wanna,
keep people out.
If you want to dig a moat and put sharks and alligators and stuff in it, like I'm fine with that. I think it makes sense for a country to have borders. Like I would want to stop foreign armies from being able to just roll across your border, so I'm fine with a wall regardless. But I don't care in either direction about it. When I see ICE going in to arrest people, I really don't care. And when I see ICE not going in to arrest people, I really don't care. Honestly, I have a tough time with it. But what I do care about, and I'm sure Charlie does too, and we might have differing opinions on this because you're an open borders libertarian, is I don't like property destruction. I don't like this leftist gaslighting about peaceful protests, about the right to protest, including blocking roadways and
burning
destroying
cars.
property, burning cars, things like that. I'm very much against that as well. And so I find myself, when I'm watching these videos, I find myself really, really wanting to see buses pull up and arrest, just if I could get all of the people in these protests organized into some type of a line to go into the bus, like cattle, like you pull up a cattle trailer, you know, and you fence around it and you get all the cattle to go into the trailer. That's sort of what I want to see when I see these big groups of people out there doing dumb stuff. So what side does that put me on? I don't really know. I'm not really sure which one it is. Am I supposed to be out here arguing that we protect the ICE agents when we sell shirts that say God hates feds? You tell me. How are we supposed to have godhatesfeds.com and come out here and talk about these poor little ICE agents?
I can go both ways on this. I mean, honestly, immigration, we all know this. We talked about this for a long time. I think Milton Friedman was right on this. Immigration's not a big deal if you don't have a welfare state.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
People can come here, through a border. I think that countries can be sovereign. I just think that it should be much easier.
Yeah.
The problem is I always have to go back to like basic rights for human beings, for a child of God as I see them. Okay? And like, why is it that we can just arbitrarily decide what piece of dirt on God's earth?
But we do have a welfare state.
I know.
And we're going to have it until America, as long as America exists, we're going to have a welfare state. That could be 10 years or that could be 100. Whatever the collapse is going to be, there will be a welfare state throughout that time. And
here's my thing is that I also, when I'm watching footage of people burning things down and waving a foreign flag, then I'm like, is that an act of war? I mean, is that
sort of seems like an invasion?
If you go back to like, who do you know who's on whose side? Like when it comes to a war, usually they got flags, staring across each other on the battlefield.
The other country,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so then I'm like, part of me is like, yeah, maybe you should be allowed to defend your territory.
That whole waving the other country's flag thing is so weird to me. Like I tried to put myself in the position of, like, I can't stand America anymore, so I move to Norway, and then I'm protesting against something Norway's doing, and I'm over there waving an American flag.
Yeah.
Like, well, how does that make any sense?
It doesn't make any sense.
Unless I went there to, like, invade Norway or something. Why would I leave the country and go to another country and then wave the country I left's flag in protest against the other country
that I'm living in?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
At all.
Unless you want to change the country you moved to / invaded.
Like into the country that you left.
Into the country that you came from.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And not only that, I'm going to wave my previous country's flag as I burn the current country's flag that I'm in. And look, I don't care about flags. I'm not saying that you can't burn or wave flags. It's a free country, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems I'm trying to figure out what the motivation is. Like, what would drive someone to like do something like that?
I think the argument would be it shows like your Mexican pride or whatever, like the country that you came from. And I'm like, why do you got so much Mexican pride? You don't want to go back there. The place sucks. It sucks so much. You'd rather burn a car and risk prison in America than go back to Mexico.
Right.
So like it sucks, I don't know. The whole this whole thing is ridiculous. But we got some videos of riots. You guys want to watch videos of riots?
I'll tell you what, this is a kerfuffle.
Yeah. I did want to.
If you want to know what the definition of kerfuffle is, we've got video evidence.
That's right here. I did want to start at the beginning, which is a very good place to start. Because a lot of the narrative is that basically there were a bunch of peaceful protests going on in L.A., and then all of a sudden Trump got really mad that people were peacefully protesting in LA, and so he decided to make a bunch of threats and send in the National Guard and threatened to send in Marines and stuff like that. And then protests got really bad. But before that, the protests were just entirely peaceful. And that does not seem to be true whatsoever. And this is starting all the way back on Friday. You might call this a peaceful protest, but what you see in this video, and I really recommend watching this on YouTube today, what you see in this video are people that are standing around government vehicles, but they're basically trying to block government vehicles from being able to move. They're getting in front of vehicles that are in motion, trying to stop them. And you can think a couple things here. Number one, well, I mean, we hate the government, so I mean, screw those government vehicles. Okay, that's one thing. You could go that direction if you want. Number two, I don't have any sympathy for people who jump in front of a moving car and get ran over and then cry about it. I don't at all. If you stand on a roadway where vehicles are moving, whatever happens, happens. You have no right to stop any moving vehicle that is on that roadway moving. They do it. You could say, well, this is the government, so that's different. They do it in front of, private citizens as well, and then cry about getting hit by cars then. I don't care. No. I have no sympathy for you.
It's literally, you're putting your hand inside a snake jar.
Yeah.
And you get bit by said snake, and then
you cry
now you're the victim.
You're crying. Yeah.
The snake. It's like, what the hell is
the other
wrong
thing is,
with you?
Anyone, even if you're a member of the government, if your car gets surrounded by protesters and they're trying to stop you from moving, that is a dangerous situation for anyone that they're going to want to get out of, because what's next? They could break the windows and drag you out into the street and beat you to death.
We've seen videos of that happening.
That happens. Okay. So you don't just stop for a bunch of protesters that are being unruly, because for all you know, the next thing that happens, window gets smashed out, you get drug out, and you get beat to death. So you're going to want to get out of there. All right. So that, just keep all those things in mind. This was like one of the first situations I saw, and this was on Friday.
Is when we started seeing some sort of smoke to help try and keep those people from protesters here. Okay, so here we are. We're in the middle of the street here. You can see one person.
That looks, most of them in black. Is this Antifa?
Right in front of this SUV here, but he's going to. It's just such a dangerous situation.
Protesters
here.
surrounding an SUV.
And it's really not going to do him any good to be standing there and possibly get
ran
over by agents.
Trying to stop it, standing in front of a moving vehicle.
Here they are. They're on 9th Street now. Crowd is running alongside with these vehicles, and I'd pretty much guarantee that this SUV is not going to stop.
Then somebody just came up and hit the windows.
All right, let me widen out here.
And then whoever's driving the car backs up. Even though technically they just kind of hit someone with their car, and then they drive off.
Oh, we and there goes getting up.
And people are mad about that. And
apparently this guy had a cracked skull.
What's he supposed to do? Get out of the car and see if the guy's okay?
Yeah, right.
Like, what do you want him to do?
Yeah, somebody just ran up and hit the window.
I don't understand what people expect to happen in this situation. Now, like I said, this is on Friday, and this is when ICE comes into town, and they're making arrests. They've got warrants for arrests. They're not just, just raiding random places, searching everyone. They've actually got warrants for specific people, probably not in all the circumstances. And, of course, they're going to tell you stories about some of the rapists and murderers that they're going to get, but they're probably also just going to get some guy who overstayed his visa at the same time. In fact, there's probably more of those people than there are the rapists and murderers, stuff like that. But regardless, they're in town.
Did you see the video of all the construction workers running away?
I did see that, yeah. They're in town. They're executing warrants, and people are upset about this. They decide to surround facilities, surround cars, and try to stop them from doing anything. And, eventually you get some pretty big crowds for protests. And let's see, what was...
Also want to know, so this was the weekend, but... There's obviously people funding this as well. We now know through the NGOs and the George Soros Fund, the Open Society.
I would say there's plenty of nonprofits involved.
That is happening.
Yeah.
So,
but also it's summer now. I don't know.
Kids are out of school.
Kids are out of school. What are you gonna do? This is actually almost to the day when the George Floyd riots began. It's pretty close, because I think the George Floyd thing happened at the very end of May, and then it was like the first week of June that things started getting really bad with that. And so here we are again.
It's also Gay Month.
So. Yeah. And people upset about that, And, I don't blame them. But This one says protesters have surrounded the Federal Detention Center in Los Angeles. California isn't backing down. This is full-blown standoff with the feds.
Chris.
That's right, Giovanna. It's a major protest going on about 2 hours now. Close to 1,000 people now wrapping around the detention facility between Alameda and Los Angeles Street. They started on the front steps
That
of
looks
the
like
Federal
more than
Building at
1,000.
300 Los Angeles. Now marching down Aliso. In the lead there is that cattle truck leading the pack.
So we've got, we've got that happening now. I don't agree that people have the right to block roadways that other people have the exact same right to use that you have the right to use.
I don't either.
At the time that you start blocking off roadways, I think the police can move in and they can arrest you and they can do whatever they want at that time. I don't care if you call that peaceful, whatever it is. All the other people in the city also have a right to use that roadway, and you're preventing them from using it. And so you are impeding their rights. And so I'm at that point, I don't consider it peaceful anymore.
Nope. It's not.
At all.
Your rights end where another's begin.
There's that. And then we have, let's see, this is Brooklyn Dad Defiant. President Biden, this is a funny thing, a funny gaslighty thing that people on the left do. Brooklyn Dad Defiant says, President Biden never needed to send National Guard troops to L.A. for protests, and Trump refused to send them to the Capitol on January 6th. This is part of Trump's fascist Project 2025 takeover. Full-blown authoritarianism is here. Now, it's funny, you'll say something like President Biden never needed to send the National Guard troops for L.A. protests. It's the left that's protesting predominantly. And so you could say, well, when someone on the left was in charge, no one ever had to send in the National Guard for us protesting.
Yeah, because everyone was working.
Because you weren't. No, the answer is because you weren't protesting. Because the person was doing what you wanted them to do. And so the fact that you'll come out and do it now when you weren't doing it, beforehand is not some type of evidence that Biden did a better job handling things than Trump is doing. This is a video, let's see, a bunch of, they're saying this is National Guard. I'm not sure if it's National Guard. That's not National Guard.
Looks like sheriff.
Yeah,
typically.
that's still police there. That's probably why there's a proposed community note on it right now. This is on June 7th, so this is on Saturday. No National Guard there at this time. Same video here again, but some of these I put in here because of the comments. Trump is sending in highly visible and armored ICE agents to L.A. and other big cities. He's deliberately creating conflict so he can federalize the National Guard to go in and start hurting American citizens. That's the end game. This is this sort of fascist dream that people have that Trump came in wanting to enact. I don't think he wants to do that. Number one, because that'd be very unpopular.
Yeah.
I'm not saying because he's like against it on a principled basis or whatever, but that wouldn't be a popular thing to do. It would play really bad in the midterms. And so just given that fact, it'd be bad for his legacy, all kinds of stuff like that. I don't think he has this dream of bringing in the National Guard and having martial law and hurting American citizens and stuff like that. But I guess if you totally believed all the stuff that you heard in the 2024 election cycle, all those things that eventually helped drive us to vote for
Project 2025, man.
Yeah, all that stuff.
It's coming to fruition.
This is another video of the guy getting hit by that car from another angle. Benny Johnson says rioters are now launching explosives at the ICE detention facility in Los Angeles. I do think fireworks qualify as explosives, but it's not exactly the terminology I would use. So they are shooting fireworks at the ICE detention facility, and they do explode. So that is true. This is not peaceful protest. Is this peaceful protest, Charlie? No. Okay.
No, it's not peaceful.
Not peaceful protest.
I also see the person starting out running with the Mexican flag.
Yeah, that's good. This is still on June.
Well organized, good communication. Go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Look at the Mexican flag. I don't get it. Play it. Watch her run with the Mexican flag. That's courageous.
Retreat. Mexico's retreating at that point.
Leading them into battle.
Yeah.
Oh, let me hold it up.
Yeah.
Follow me.
I don't get it. I don't get the flag thing. But, you know, that's just our privilege. And then you see the protest turned even more peaceful. This is also posted on June 7th at 7:37 p.m. There's no National Guard in LA at this time. It has been spoken about. Trump and Newsom are going back and forth at this time. The reason I keep mentioning that is the narrative today. I guess I'll tell you this right now. The narrative today is that Trump sending in the National Guard is what caused the protests to turn into riots. That's what caused them to get bad. The New York Times, CNN, and WAPO, all three of them, the top left headline on their page, essentially blamed Trump federalizing the National Guard for the protests turning into riots. That's not the case. These things happened before any National Guard troops came in and did anything at all. In fact, I've hardly seen anything as it relates to the National Guard doing anything yet. But here's a video of a car burning in the middle of the street.
This is Exhibit A of why you shouldn't stop in the middle of the road.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You don't do that. Okay, so there's that. Is this the one that's got the guy riding around on the bike? Yeah. Dudes on dirt bikes riding around the car. Is this I guess before he grabbed the flag. Did we see that in this video while we were talking? Let me see. All right. So that's just a video of a car on fire. That's what a car looks like when it's on fire.
It's also what a circus looks like.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
There it is. Mexican flag can,
this is criminal activity that I hope people are held accountable for. And I'm talking about the riots right here.
Where are the cops?
Yeah, where are they? Let's hope that no one is hurt and no one is injured.
And for my next trick.
So there's a dude riding around on the dirt bike.
This is so weird. This is like that. Okay, the point of that is like they're displaying pride. Like they're proud of this burning car in the middle of an intersection.
Like they won. It's like a little battle that they won.
Yeah, they're driving around in circles in little motorbikes.
Yeah,
waving a foreign country's flag, like that. We won. This is it. That to me, it's so dumb. What's the point?
Yeah, it's pretty dumb for
What's
sure.
What's the point?
Let's see. We got more videos here. I just tried to show you, like, this is still on June 7th. This is on Saturday right here. Posted at 10:59 p.m. by Libs of TikTok. People throwing rocks and other stuff at cars, things like that. Just trying to go through a timeline here. Still June 7th, 11:23 p.m. Mostly peaceful looking things here. Once again, very important that you watch this on YouTube today.
What was that, refrigerators in the middle?
Looks like it, yeah.
What are they doing?
Well, every one of those guys has a dolly, so I mean...
Are they fighting Fedra or something?
I'm not sure what's going on. This was actually a pretty funny one. This is them pouring gas all over a Jeep. And then they just they dump a 5-gallon can of gas over the top of this Jeep and then just light it right here like it's not going to be a freaking explosion. It's gas. It was hilarious. But this is a pretty peaceful way to get rid of a Jeep.
Everybody's cheering.
Yeah. And they're all just standing around like when he lights up this gas, it's all going to be fine.
Oh, I got the gas can. Nice. These. Yep. That's peaceful.
That's pretty. That's pretty, there wasn't anyone in the Jeep, So what are you going to do? Let's see. Still got, now we're on June 8th happening.
Acceptable. And you can see how quickly the Trump,
got some National Guard out there now.
Somebody just threw a bottle at law enforcement. They're throwing bottles at law enforcement. Okay, we're going to move back. We're going to move back. We're going to move back. We're going to stay at a safe distance. So what you saw there, that was law enforcement protecting themselves. That was The National Guard protecting themselves. They're firing more. Okay, so we have the flashbangs going off. We have the flashbangs going off right now. That is because there were several protesters who threw things at the officer.
Christina, we want to make sure you stay safe. It's obviously getting more and more confrontation.
She's like, how's it going inside?
You guys are watching from a. Of course, you'd put a black woman out here covering this. Don't you like? Sometimes I just want to punch some of these people in the face.
Yeah,
you know, like it's like, what are you doing? What are you trying to accomplish? You know what?
This is the shot of the day right here.
How is this picture just not like an act of war?
Of the day, standing on top of a Waymo vehicle, and
is that Chinese?
That's been on fire. No, well, I don't know who owns Waymo, but they're like an autonomous car. That some city, we don't have those here in Nashville.
No.
I don't think.
We're not as advanced.
No, we're not as advanced as these civilized folk over here in L.A. are. And of course, there's a guy. I'm sure most people have seen this picture out there.
It's my first time seeing it.
Okay, there's a dude holding the Mexican flag, shirt off, crazy looking. Is that a mask or a helmet? I can't tell which one it is right
Both,
now.
Maybe
mask. So I don't know.
Things on fire.
Sort of looks like someone who is trying to project that he's conquered something, waving a Mexican flag. That's pretty weird. As I said, we're just reporting the news right now. We'll get to some thoughts here. These people, yeah, they're upset. There's nothing exciting in there. More Waymo cars on fire. It's your general,
peaceful protest,
LA summer kind of thing. There was this video that has been circulating about for good reason. There's just a reporter here reporting things, and you do see at the end of the video a cop just turns to her and shoots her with a rubber bullet.
I did see that.
Yeah, I mean, like I think cops, they just have all this pent-up aggression that they're just ready to take out on people, and he's like, I'm just going to shoot this lady right there. Yeah. Just shoot a lady with a rubber bullet. That's fine.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
just shot her.
That's gonna leave a welt there.
If it weren't for qualified immunity, I'd say that guy's gonna lose his job, but who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
I don't know why I'm laughing at it.
It's tough to make. You can't blame that guy in the fog of war.
This person was coming backwards.
How's he? And then this video right here of the mounted police out there getting the job done.
He's imported from Canada.
But then there's a guy on the ground, and let's see what happens here. No sound on this video. So there's a dude on the ground, and there's horses going all around. Fireworks go off. Now, this is important, I believe, when you're shooting a bunch of fireworks at horses. I don't blame the horse for just running straight through this guy afterwards. After the fireworks go off, they get a little excited, And then let's see, are they going to keep beating the guy as he's got his hand up there? Yeah, I think people were mad that the horse trampled the guy. Maybe that are they going to punch him or anything? No, there's no punching happening there. Yeah, I think people were mad that the horse trampled the guy. I'm like, I don't know. You can be mad that police exists or whatever, but you shoot fireworks at horses, and then you're like mad that the horse did something strange afterwards.
Here's
I wouldn't
something
really get upset.
that you may not know. Horses don't like fireworks.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, they're in LA. It's not like they grew up around horses or anything.
Like most dogs, by the way. They don't like it.
So those are some of the best videos that we have so far. I'm sure we'll get more, although people, maybe have to go back to work for the week, so maybe it's going to calm down. We'll see. Or maybe the National Guard being there is going to calm things down. Now, speaking of the National Guard, People are upset.
Now so let me just give you my take real quick before we dive into this. Just overall, I think I'm with you. Obviously it's not that high up on my priority list. I think we could fix immigration by literally removing a lot of government from it and making it a lot easier to become a citizen.
Yeah.
And I think that people have a right to be on dirt, as long as they're not, stealing from other people, as long as they're not harming people and taking their stuff. I should be able to freely travel to different areas and different marketplaces and be free to trade with people and live in their house if they want me to, vice versa. But the other thing, too, is that I don't think it's hard. What's hard for me is that because there are a bunch of American citizens, but even if they're just human beings, people are afforded due process. It's a natural right that people have. Like, you have to be suspected of committing a crime. And so how do you, but then the other thing is like, I don't know what the answer is. You have a group of people waving a foreign flag, setting off explosives, sure, fireworks, whatever, throwing rocks.
Yeah.
They're damming up roads with refrigerators or whatever.
Well, in this instance,
they seem to be taking positions.
In this instance, we know what the answer is. These are people that are violating laws right here in front of the cameras, and we know what should happen to anyone who's violating property rights right here. As libertarians, we have a tough time deciding whether or not an immigrant or someone who came across a border illegally violated property rights. That's a tougher one for us to decide. As we're talking about it right now, I haven't decided. Where you said earlier that I think people have a right to be on dirt.
Here's my question, though. Well, look, if I have a house, right, and someone from Mexico or Germany, whatever, that wants to rent my house, why can't they rent my house?
I got you.
It's my house.
Private property.
Why can't I rent it to somebody? Who cares if they're not a citizen?
Well, do we have a country, Charlie, or do we?
Sure,
not
we
have
do.
A country?
Sure, of course. Hey, here's my question, though, because I can go the other way with this. I'm asking questions. Okay. When you have a large group of people who are waving a foreign flag and they're setting up barriers and they're using, sure, maybe it's not RPGs and stuff, but they've got rocks and fireworks and they're setting things on fire. At what point is it not a war? That you can't just round these people up and or open fire on them or whatever the case may be to protect your citizens and your property and your liberty. I mean, where is the line drawn?
Oh, I think at the point that people are setting cars on fire and actually committing acts of violence and things like that, I don't personally want them shot dead. Shoot him in the leg if you want.
It's not how that works.
That's
Nate.
Fine. You're just in the leg.
We don't have leg. We don't have leg wars.
There's no reason to stand here and let that guy do that. Like, put one in his leg. Bring him down at least. These rubber bullets aren't doing it. That girl ran away. Rubber bullets clearly don't work. So maybe something, or if we could get the technology to fire a taser that doesn't have to be connected to a wire when it shoots, but when it would stick in you and tase you down to the ground, something like that. I'm just saying some cool stuff.
It's got cool its own battery,
stuff, things like that. I just want to
maybe there's some Down syndrome
Bluetooth taser.
Maybe we hit him with Down syndrome bullets.
Yeah, well, that could be a rubber bullet to the head. Maybe
it's mRNA bullets.
You just shoot them with mRNA darts.
Shoot them
like trank darts.
Yeah, and
only stuff like that. And a few years later, they have a stroke. I'm saying something immediate though. I want something immediate to happen.
Well,
okay?
I'm just saying immediate Down syndrome. Just and they, now they just want to make.
But then we got to take care of them.
Now they want to make grilled cheeses, and then they're happy.
God.
That's it. God. They're not. You don't see anybody with Down syndrome protesting.
No, they're like the happiest people you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
Okay, so we've got some ideas. What? People are upset with us for thinking out of the box. You just want us on in your little 3x5 index card of allowable opinion. That's ridiculous. We're trying to come up with some ideas here.
Yeah, and joke around at the same time. You're not allowed to do that? Isn't this America?
Yeah, it's not like we live in California. This doesn't really matter to us.
Yeah.
We're safely here in Tennessee.
I was talking to a friend who lived...
The Blue Angels were over my house yesterday.
As America as it could get.
I know.
Yeah.
So American around my house.
I was talking to a friend who used to live out in California, and it's like, man, good thing you got out of there, because he probably wasn't too far from L.A. I don't remember exactly where he lived. Probably
in the group. You can probably ask him.
Yeah, he is in the group. I wasn't going to say his name.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were kind of talking about it, and it was just like, yeah, good thing you got out of there, man. It would just suck. It would suck to be there. Of course, Nashville has a ton of immigrants. I mean, you drive down Nolensville and Murfreesboro Road as you get closer to the city, just south, and there's no English signs.
Yeah, it's where I get my car worked on.
Right. It's all, they have legit, Mexican grocery stores.
When you get tires down there, though, they make you think that they're giving you really cheap tires, but they're expired. They'll shred apart as soon as they get hot.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful down there. Great burritos, though. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They got mercados,
So important stuff here, because we got some things to talk about. Trump took over California's National Guard. Took control. Federalized it. That's a pretty big thing.
I'm still reading the live group, having ideas.
Oh, we're still brainstorming in the live group.
Well, this person says, hear me out. What if the rubber bullets were made of maybe a soft metal?
Okay. Like a really soft metal?
Yeah.
Okay.
What, like mercury?
Well, hot, like melted, like hot. We're not close enough to being hot. I don't know. There's different ideas on this kind of stuff, folks. I'm not sure. Charlie, this is a Libertarian podcast, and the President of the United States just federalized the state National Guard to go in after people.
Not a fan of that.
First time in decades it's been done without anyone asking for this to be done. That's what I heard anyway. So that's a thing. Just so everyone knows, he does have the power to do that. They can do it. We might disagree because of this whole immigration conversation. Some of us here might disagree with this. But the president can federalize the National Guard to suppress insurrections against the state government upon the request of the state's governor or legislature, or to enforce federal law or suppress rebellion when unlawful obstructions or assemblies prevent the execution of federal laws. This does qualify. We don't have to talk about whether or not we agree with federal laws. Don't even have to be in an immigration debate. Let's just have a straight...
There is a strong libertarian movement for Defend the Guard.
Yes.
Which is state legislation saying that the United States doesn't have the power to call them up.
They can't send them to war unless there's been a declaration of war by Congress.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if that actually affects whether or not they could be federalized for like a domestic national emergency. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
To tell you that. Whether or not you agree with the federal law, and of course, we'll have our libertarian conflictions here. There are people trying to prevent the execution of federal laws, obstructing whatever.
It even says the other section here, 253, it even says you can protect a state against domestic violence, even without state consent, if it deprives citizens of constitutional rights and the state fails to act.
So the answer is yes, he can do this. And I think you can easily make the argument that this does qualify if ICE arresting these people is so important that they have to go in and do it, and people are preventing them from doing their job. You could say, okay, well, if you guys aren't going to help us with these people. Remember, they're sort of a sanctuary city, basically a sanctuary state. That doesn't mean they can block the federal government from doing things when you're a sanctuary state, but you don't have to help the federal government when they're trying to execute any of their laws. Once it comes to actually blocking, then there becomes some issues after that. So can he do this? Yes, he can do it. Should he have done it? The argument is that it's going to inflame the tensions. It's going to make everything worse. And already the media has gone with this and said, well, the riots intensified because Trump federalized the National Guard and brought in the National Guard. Most of the videos we just showed you were before that happened. He had talked about it by the second day. but there weren't any National Guard troops in there that were inflaming the situation. Like, there were already cars on fire in the middle of the street and roads blocked and people, the guy standing in front of the ICE vehicle getting hit and people shooting fireworks at the the facilities and all of that. All of these things happening before the National Guard, any of them were brought in. So while I might be like, well, is that a good idea? I don't know. I will not accept the argument that that is what caused the situation to happen.
Exactly.
Which is what people on the left clearly are going to do because they want to take away any blame that they might have in the situation for not getting control of their roadways and their riots, all that stuff. So we do have some stuff here from Trump. Let's see. Oh, by the way, Elon Musk reposting J.D. Vance, reposting Donald Trump. Okay, so that's
bromance is back on.
He deleted the Epstein post and a bunch of the other posts.
Oh,
yeah, they're trying to. He's going to try and patch stuff up, and Trump's going to play hardball because that's how narcissists work.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Musk is trying to get back in his good graces, and now Trump's gonna be like,
"Did Trump delete his truth posts?"
Oh, I would highly no. I haven't seen anything
check
about
that out.
No, I don't. People would have reported that. So the answer is no. He hasn't done it. Trump said the once great American city, L.A., has been invaded and occupied by illegal aliens and criminals. Now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents to try and stop our deportation operations. But these lawless riots only strengthen our resolve. I'm directing Kristi Noem, Pete Hegseth, and Pam Bondi in coordination with all other relevant departments and agencies to take all such action necessary to liberate Los Angeles from the migrant invasion and put an end to these migrant riots. Order will be restored, the illegals will be expelled, and LA will be set free. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay. Let's get to some more stuff here.
God, the fact that he just calls them new scum.
Yeah. Great job by the National Guard in L.A. After 2 days of violence, clashes, and unrest. We have incompetent Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass, who were is he not ever going to call her largemouth bass? I just don't understand. As usual, just look at how they handled the fires, and now their very slow permitting disaster. Federal permitting is complete. That's important. Unable to handle the task, these radical left protests by instigators and often paid troublemakers will not be tolerated. Also, from now on, masks will not be allowed to be worn at protests. What do these people have to hide and why? Again, thank you for the National Guard for a job well done. I will not get on board with banning people from wearing masks. I understand completely why you would try and ban people from wearing masks, but I do not believe the government has the authority to ban people from wearing masks. In the exact same way, I don't think they have the authority to compel people to wear masks. We made the argument that you can't compel people to wear something on your face, and I don't think the government can compel you to not wear something on your face. Either way, I understand why they want to, because these people go up and they set something on fire, they break a window, they hurt someone or whatever, and they got a mask on, and you don't know what they look like, and so it makes them really hard to find afterwards. I totally get it. Totally 100% get it. But guess what? One day, when we're rising up doing the exact same thing against the ATF, when they're coming to take our guns, I might want to have a mask on, So I don't want the government to be able to ban people from wearing masks.
His latest truth just now was arrest everyone in a mask.
Yeah.
Arrest them all.
I'm not, I totally understand why. 100% understand why. But I can't get on board with the authority of the government to arrest you for having the mask on or for trying to conceal your identity from the government. When I say it like that, it probably sounds different from, you ought to be able to burn a Waymo car and have a mask on while you're doing it. Like, that's what people are worried about. Totally understand. Totally get it. You have to think further into the future. I don't want them to have that power. Let's see. That's an earlier one. I kept this because it's another Elon Musk post of a Donald Trump post. Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass. Mayor's in quotes. God, he knows how to troll people.
It's so good.
Mayor Bass should apologize to the people of L.A. for the absolutely horrible job they have done, and this now includes the ongoing L.A. riots. These are not protesters. They're troublemakers and insurrectionists. Remember, no masks.
He's saying they're paid insurrectionists, too.
Yeah, he said that in the earlier one. Let's see. Since, of course, this is taking a long time.
Wait, go back to the previous one. Trump administration orders National Guard to L.A. to stop peaceful protests against ICE. Of course, it's peaceful.
Very peaceful.
These people.
This is the moment many of us feared. Remember, Trump wants violence. He wants the martial law. Any violence will result in. It's pretty great. They have like this self-fulfilling prophecy where they talked about how Trump would be a fascist, and then they go out and commit absolutely not peaceful protests, leading Trump to maybe make the right decision or not to use the National Guard. And they say, look, see, we told you. We told you he was a fascist. He won't let us burn stuff down. And now he's sending in people trying to stop people from peacefully protesting. And so it's just great how that happens. That's wonderful. Let's see. Gavin Newsom says.
Newsom.
You know, it's fine. Go ahead.
Newsom.
Go ahead, Charlie.
So the federal government is taking over California National Guard and deploying 2,000 soldiers in L.A., not because there is a shortage of law enforcement, but because they want a spectacle. Yeah, of course. That's what it is. Don't give them one. Never use violence. Speak out peacefully.
He did say don't use violence. There's a weird thing on the left, though. You could surround buildings, surround cars, block people from going to work, block ambulances from going to the hospital.
Set things on fire.
You can set things on fire. You can spray paint stuff. You could break into a building and steal the Air Jordans they have in there. And as long as you didn't punch someone, they're like, oh, that was nonviolent. That's peaceful. What do you mean?
No violence whatsoever.
We didn't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
You know, that's just property. That's because these are a bunch of Marxists out there. They don't care about the property. They don't believe in property. They don't care about that. And they think that their rights supersede others right now because they're fighting for a just cause. It's going to be a lot of the same things that we saw during BLM. Oh, Kamala Harris, she got in the fold here from the office of Kamala Harris, which doesn't do much these days, honestly, the office. It's just, not a very busy place. Los Angeles is my home, and I sort of... You did the laugh while I went into a slurred speech for the wine mom.
Yeah.
LA is my home, and like so many Americans, I am appalled at what we are witnessing on the streets of our city. See, she's very upset about people burning things down and blocking traffic. Deploying the National Guard is a dangerous escalation meant to provoke chaos. In addition to the recent ICE raids in Southern California and across our nation, it is part of the Trump administration's cruel, calculated agenda to spread panic and division. So just so you know, the things that she's appalled at witnessing on the streets of her city are ICE arresting illegal immigrants, or trying to at least, and the National Guard trying to come in and stop people from destroying property and blocking the roadways. So she's appalled at that. This administration's actions are not about public safety. They're about stoking fear of a community demanding dignity and due process.
Now, here's where they take a page out of the BLM book right here.
Yeah.
And they try to gaslight you with this. This is what they're doing. This
by
is
the
gaslighting.
way, so there's a...
And no one's going to buy it, by the way.
This is where I think the administration really messed up with those flights to El Salvador, where there really wasn't any due process. They just rounded people up and sent them to a prison in El Salvador. That is now getting mixed in with any immigration action. So in this case, you had ICE executing what are lawful warrants to go after people, some of them like actual criminals who would hurt people, some of them criminals because they crossed the border illegally and overstayed a visa or whatever, different people like that. And those are all getting mixed in, like where she says that they're demanding dignity and due process. ICE is not there to round people up and put them in a C-17 and send them to El Salvador. They're executing normal-ass ICE warrants to go after people, and they're going to get the same due process that people arrested by ICE got when Biden was the president and Kamala Harris was the vice president. She didn't disband ICE while she was in there, you know? And so because the Trump administration did the El Salvador thing, where they did really skip over due process, now all of their immigration actions are looked at as skipping due process, when the overwhelming majority of them are doing the same immigration court due process that we've always had. And they're not even keeping pace with how many people Obama deported.
Yeah.
Okay. It's really just it's them wanting to make.
We didn't read that
spectacle
part.
out of that.
She said,
"Oh yeah, sorry."
She said, protest is a powerful tool essential in the fight for justice. And as the LAPD mayor and governor have noted, demonstrations in defense of our immigrant neighbors have been overwhelmingly peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Overwhelmingly peaceful.
Yeah, that's what we see on, even though you're appalled at what you're witnessing on the streets.
Yeah. Well,
why is she appalled by the...
She's appalled by
the overwhelmingly peaceful protests that are happening.
No, she's appalled by the cops stopping people from peacefully protesting. That's what she's appalled by, not by the protest. She wants more of those. She'd like to see more cars getting set on fire and stuff. This is a more recent post from Gavin Newsom. No,
Mike Lee's reply. I just read it.
Yeah. LA, don't take Trump's bait. Trump wants chaos and he's instigated violence. So every time we talk about riots, I bring up the fact that everyone needs to read a book by Ayn Rand that's a collection of essays called Return of the Primitive. It's a collection of Ayn Rand essays, and she talks about the Berkeley riots, and she talks about why they don't consider these type of violent acts in protest to be violent. And so if you try to stop them, say from blocking someone from speaking or stealing their microphone or impeding someone's travel, what they were doing was not violence. Okay, that was a nonviolent protest. If you try to stop them from doing that, then you're the one that's committing the act of violence against them.
You're the aggressor.
Who was being peaceful.
Right.
Okay. And it's or at least just read the essay called "The Cashing In" is what that one's called. Anyhow, Gavin Newsom says, "Don't take Trump's bait. Trump wants chaos and he's instigated violence. Those who assault law enforcement or cause property damage will risk arrest."
Gonna risk it.
We might arrest you. Just letting you know. Stay peaceful. Stay focused. Don't give him the excuse he's looking for.
And Mike Lee responds, "You've got to be joking." Sick joke.
Yeah. Okay, so we've covered what some of these people have said. My God, how long of an episode are we going to do? We're 52 minutes right now. Do you want to start towards the off-ramp, or do you want another block and then the off-ramp? Which one do you want to do?
I don't know. I got to go soon.
Yeah, well, I want to show you what else is happening right now. We'll get into what's not a conspiracy theory, too. Because I think this is important. We've got more. There's plenty of politicians out there talking about how this is mostly peaceful, your general mostly peaceful stuff, how sending in the National Guard is what caused all this to happen. And by the way, that's what the big news organizations have gone with today. Like New York Times top story is Trump jumps at the chance for a confrontation in California over immigration. I don't know. Could be the case. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one it is. CNN's top left story, the showdown the White House has been waiting for. The WAPO top left story, protesters clash with officers as National Guard presence draws pushback. The National Guard presence is a new thing. Okay, there was plenty of rioting that took place before that, but they will try to make it look like it was peaceful up until the National Guard came in, federalized by Trump, came in and incited all of the violence that happened.
It instigated everything.
They have to do that. That is, and you know what? If I were on their side, I would tell you got to do that. It's your fiduciary responsibility to do that. All right. I've got not a conspiracy theory, and the Republicans won't like this. Okay. Isn't it weird, Charlie? Imagine last week. You remember last week? That was a crazy week.
That was a crazy week.
That was a week, man. Let me tell you what.
Bromance had died.
Yeah.
There was Elon and Trump going at it. It looked like the big, beautiful bill was probably going to be killed in the Senate.
Be dead. I haven't seen the poly market odds, but I bet you they're back up to like 90% right now on that bill. It's so weird. Musk comes out against the bill. The bromance breaks up. Republicans are starting to get traction. All that's dead now. You can't talk negatively about the big, beautiful bill without being in favor of what's going on in LA at the moment. And it's beautiful how that happens.
Because of the immigration money.
Because there is immigration money, a lot of
Border
immigration
Patrol
money in that bill. And so now, if you are against this bill in any way, even
You're for Mexico.
You're for the guy on top of the car with the Mexican flag if you think that this bill is a bad idea.
If you were a conspiracy theorist.
In fact, I hardly think there's any room in the news to talk about the fact that Elon Musk said Trump was in the Epstein files. There's hardly anything about that. I don't even know if it's worth the risk of not passing this bill because it's a big handout to Palantir. Who's going to be what? I mean, we got to pass this bill. Look how dangerous this is. These guys have massive. We need sophisticated technology to come in and track all these violent criminals. All right. It would be easier to go after these people if we were just using some nice software. And so it's like after this weekend, all of those problems with this bill are just, you can't talk about them without being an enemy of a big enemy of the Republican Party, no matter how valid the thing is that you bring up. So I posted out what I think a conspiracy theorist would say.
Not you. Yeah.
I didn't say it. It's basically what we just said. If I were a conspiracy theorist, and I just wanted to offer it like as a writer for people that are conspiracy theorists, that this situation seems tailor-made to ensure that this bill passes. I mean, it's perfect.
And it's possible that these peaceful protesters might be funded, if I were a conspiracy theorist, might be funded by Republican NGOs.
Well, there could be that, or they could have known that going into L.A. with ICE would cause it. Do you think Republican NGOs could be doing it too?
It's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible. It's the government.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I'd start asking those questions.
Yeah, you should ask those questions.
Who's funding these protesters? Oh, look, this is the Republican version of the Open Society. Whoever leads that, because we've seen that it's both sides. These are Democrat and Republican NGOs that take place and receive federal funding that they then turn around and use for whatever purpose necessary to push an agenda. It's like, and what's weird is like we've seen with the declassification of the CIA files and everything that's been happening. This is like a page taken out of the book that they used in like Cuba and Belarus and other places where they drum up these protests, they drum up these riots.
Ukraine, don't forget about Ukraine.
They drum up these things. It's all for an agenda. And so
it could be to get a bill passed.
We know that to be true. And so is it possible, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I'd be like, maybe I'll start asking those questions.
Oh, you know who did it? Palantir. Boom.
If
I were a conspiracy, I'm saying what a conspiracy theorist might say.
Because who has the motivation to get this BBB passed?
So
would that be Planeteer?
Planeteer.
Could be.
One of the most infuriating things, other than all the crazy leftist protesters, was that a couple people, Stephen Miller and the big influencer account on X called Cernovich, their public enemy number one, the thing that they posted about was libertarians, Rand Paul and Thomas Massie. That's all they were posting about this weekend was Rand Paul and Thomas Massie. It was this immediate shift to say these two people, you know how they've been talking about the deficit was a problem and increasing the debt limit was a problem. Well, let's flip this argument. Let's really draw people's attention to the fact that this here bill is going to prevent what's happening in LA right now. And these guys don't want to prevent what's happening in LA right now. And that's the whole point. All right. So Rand Paul went on Fox News, and I'll play a couple minutes of this. Stephen Miller responded and said, while ICE officers are battling violent mobs in LA, Rand Paul is trying to cut funding for deportations and border security. Now, in this clip right here, you might assume that Rand Paul says, here's the amount of money we're spending on deportation and border security. I think we should spend less than that amount of money. We're talking about federal budget. He doesn't. What he says is, you want to increase it by $150 billion, and I think we should increase it by $75 billion. Now, and
we still have plenty of money.
Now, in Stephen Miller's baseline budgeting brain, increasing it half as much as he wants to increase it is a cut. Just so you know, even though it's an increase. That's how Congress works, by the way. When they increase it less than what the proposed increase is, it's a cut all of a sudden.
Well, because they already started spending the money in their mind.
Yeah, in their brain, they're thinking about all these cool things they're going to do with it. Paul makes some good points in this video. I think it's worth playing because let me just tell you, it was a ton. Johnny MAGA, this is a big page, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a pretty big page. Rand Paul's reaction to the insurrectionists in L.A. attacking ICE officers. He says, we should cut the immigration enforcement funding and Trump's big, beautiful bill in half. Okay. That's fine. This is a video of protests of the riot going on, and Cernovich retweets and says, "Where are Rand and Massey?" I don't know. Is Trump down there? How many politicians are down there right now?
They're in Kentucky.
They're supposed to be down there right now.
They're in Kentucky. This is California.
Point is, let's see. The same video. I believe Cernovich retweets and says, Rand's rioters. So now Rand Paul is in favor of what's going on actually in L.A. This stuff is it's disgusting to me. Cernovich starts going after, he's retweeting a 2019 post from Thomas Massey, where Thomas Massey did not agree with Trump redirecting money from the Department of Defense. Was it Department of Defense? I can't remember. What did he redirect the money from? Was it FEMA to do the border wall? I can't remember which one it was. Where Massey says, in order to be consistent in preserving the constitutional structure of our republic, I will be voting for the resolution to prevent the president from using a national emergency declaration to reappropriate money for the wall. This is something that people just don't understand. It's the first words here. They don't get it at all. In order to be consistent. That's a really big problem that they have with this whole thing. Thomas Massey's point was that you should have Congress vote to spend money on the wall.
Because they're the ones who have the power.
He also makes the point in that thread saying, you're the guy who signs it. You just tell Congress that you're not going to sign it unless they appropriate money for the wall. It's, just do that. You don't got to take it from the budget elsewhere.
Right.
Anyhow, this means that Massey is in favor of illegal immigration or whatever. All the while, just so you guys know, the Trump administration has been boasting about how they've shut down 98% of the crossings across the border, probably more than that even now. They've essentially closed the border.
With current funding.
With the funding they have now, the wall that is there right now, the personnel that they have right now, all they've decided to do is enforce the laws that are on the books. That's it. It didn't take $75 billion more dollars. Did take $46 billion more for a wall.
Did take $150 billion more dollars.
None of those dollars. All they had to do was take the personnel they had and actually enforce the laws that they have. And I believe that remain in Mexico. The remain in Mexico thing is a pretty big deal. Okay, asylum, you stay there. Okay. Well, when we're going to let you in, we'll let you know. We'll give you a call. Give me your number. I'll give you a call, man.
Yeah.
We'll let you know when the judge comes back. It's 6 years from now. So this whole thing where they've completely shifted to being against the two Republicans that are against this bill it's a sad turn of events to me, because this is DC Drano saying the same thing. Thomas Massey and Rand Paul want to reduce funding for immigration enforcement. This is what it leads to. They don't want to reduce funding for immigration enforcement. They want to increase it by $75 billion instead of $150 billion. That's still an increase.
By the way, these guys are taking the same playbook from the narcissist gaslighting lefties, and this is just straight up lying.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Okay.
You were going to play this because you said Rand had good stuff to say.
He did have good stuff to say. We've essentially said the good stuff that he had to say at this point, and we are short on time. So I wanted us to make one more final point before we go. This is Chase Oliver. Nice guy. Interviewed him a few times. Seems to be a good guy. Okay. He did have one post that went kind of viral because Stephen Miller actually reposted it. That's not really the post that I wanted to point out. Former Libertarian candidate for president, and
that I couldn't vote for.
Yeah, we didn't vote for him. Okay, we weren't pumped about that. He had reposted this thing, a post from Anonymous, which said ICE forced to barricade themselves inside the federal building in L.A. until LAPD could intervene and rescue them from the brave crowd standing up to the regime. And Chase Oliver says, California, this should be the national mood. Keep it up. Stephen Miller says this was the Libertarian candidate for president. That is factually accurate. Okay. He posts out later on, if you're protesting ICE in your city, carry an American flag with you and wave it proudly. Let the media see the state trying to crush dissent when it's carrying our national flag, a flag that came out of a revolution against tyranny. So my first thing is, if that's what the protesters are protesting, if that's what they're doing, you probably wouldn't have to tell them to carry our country's flag and not another country's flag.
Yeah.
While they're doing it.
This guy's not a libertarian, by the way. He's just a leftist.
He's got some libertarian leanings on economics. He's great on economics.
I like
Great on
what
economics.
I like what Bailey said here. Nice guy. Wants to trans your kid, but nice guy.
Nice guy. You talk to him? You're talking to him in person?
Just don't let him around.
He's sitting in a chair right there.
Don't let him around your kids.
Nice guy. You know? That's fine. So I have an issue with this, and it's not just Chase. It's a lot of the super open border libertarians, or a lot of the not even the open border libertarians, because I have sympathies for both sides, clearly, as we've explained. The people who are like, yeah, go protesters, F the feds, God hates feds. By the way, I haven't seen a single God hates feds shirt, and that is disappointing to me. We should run a coupon code probably for these people. But that's not why they're out there. Like, these people are like, oh, yeah, these people, good for them, fighting against tyranny and authoritarianism and fighting against the government. They're doing what's right, and the American spirit is alive, and, you know, carry our flag that came out of a revolution. Guys, that's not what these people are doing. It's not at all what they are doing. This is just like during the BLM thing. They might have been mad about what happened to George Floyd or whatever, but it wasn't about that. It was about police brutality. They let a cop stomp on your face if you refuse to give your guns away. Mm-hmm. They don't care about that at all. All right? They weren't out there protesting lockdowns. Like, you're telling me these people are just embodiment of the American spirit of the founding fathers. They didn't do this during the lockdowns. They didn't care about that, you know. They don't care about taxation. They're worried about the income tax at all. Property taxes, anything like that. Or the destruction of the currency, anything like that. No, they're not worried about these things. They're not worried about regulations or the deep state or anything that they're doing.
These people are upset they're not going to be getting free stuff from the government.
They will do this in order to get free stuff. This has nothing to do with America or the revolution, the founding fathers, or the flag, or anything like that. This is an oppressor versus oppressed Marxist protest, just like the BLM riots. It has nothing to do with human freedom and liberty. It has to do with standing up for who they believe are people that are being oppressed by people that are in power. Doesn't matter who those people are at all. And they will stand up for those oppressed people by taking money away from you and giving it to them at the same time. And they'll kill you if you refuse. These are not freedom-loving American patriots.
We're probably going to see some Chaz Chop zones pop up here in LA.
Could see that. Could see that. These people would, I mean, they would get, they'd enact Medicare for all if they could. They'd outlaw people from creating wealth. They'd kill the rich people that they don't put in prison if they could. They're not out there fighting for American values or anything like that. This is not fighting for human rights. They're fighting a Marxist, communist, oppressor versus oppressed battle. And a lot of them are just people who want to burn stuff. They just want to see the whole thing burned down for whatever reason. They might disband ICE, and some libertarians could agree that would be great for liberty, but they would just take that money and give it to the ATF to go and take your guns, and they would absolutely kill you and laugh about it if you refused. These are not people that you want to align with at all. And so I will not align with these people. I'm not going to support them, not one bit. Not going to support anything that they're doing, because these people are not my friends at all. They would kill me in a heartbeat if they thought I had too much money. All right? Not going to do it.
Well, even if they thought you had the potential.
The potential to have too much money.
Exactly. Because you're an oppressor.
By the way, in the same way that we didn't support what happened on January 6th. You know why? We said it on January 6th. We're like, they're not doing this because they're mad about taxation. They're not doing this because they want the welfare state to be abolished. These people will take over the country and raise your Social Security payments. Yeah. You know, they don't care. about that. They bomb more countries if they could. Like, these aren't people that are coming to take back America with their Gadsden flags and their American flags and all that. They're not the right people to do this. They don't care about what the founding fathers said at all.
Yeah.
They
were mad that their guy lost an election.
Yes, they're mad that their guy lost.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now, it could have been rigged.
Could have
Possible.
been. They didn't have any evidence of that at that time.
No.
It could have been, sure.
And it turns out there were like 20 to 30 FBI people there that were kind of instigating it.
Sure.
But we said at the time that this is not what you fight a revolution for.
No.
This isn't the same as fighting tyranny. It's not, the motivation isn't the same. I agree with that.
Until these people come out against taxation or regulation or any of these things, they're not your friend. They don't care about liberty or freedom at all. You might align with them on one thing right now, but I will not empower them at all because they'll kill you in a heartbeat. All right, let's go.
All right, y'all. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it around. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to GodHatesFeds.com. Be part of the Fed Haters Club. And because there's lots to be hateful for.
Yeah.
GodHatesFeds.com. Join gmail.com. Be part of the Fed Haters Club by clicking the button there on joingmail.com. Visit the links in the show notes to support the sponsors that support this show. And if you do all of that, we'll be back again tomorrow. Hope you have a good day and a good morning, Liberty.